Welcome to Quantum Revenue Expansion, where we keep you motivated, inspired, and thinking big. Up-leveling into quantum revenue is a choice that we can all make in any moment, and then continue to make that choice to stay in that space each day. On this podcast, Ursula will share revenue growth strategies to reach your next level and introduce you to CEOs just like you who are making it happen. What's your next quantum leap going to be? See it, own it, and take that first step. If this is you, then Ursula wants to invite you to join us at the next 2X Intensive now. Go to salescoachnow.com/apply. You are listening to Quantum Revenue Expansion with your host, Ursula Menchez. Let's go.
Hi guys, welcome back to Quantum Revenue Expansion, the podcast. Part 2 of my solo show, 10 strategies to exceed your quantum revenue goal in 2022. Hopefully you already listened to part 1. If you haven't yet, go back and listen to part 1 because I gave some homework on there and it's not going to make as much sense if you haven't listened to that part or done the work. So pause it, go back, listen, you'll thank me later. Okay. For those of you that already did the work, welcome back. I'm super excited to dig in and to really support you on this part 2 of what it really takes and the strategies that you can implement to exceed your quantum revenue goal. So I'm bringing the gold today. Part 1 was, laying the groundwork, the framework, setting it up so that you can succeed. This is going to be like, all right, let's go. What are you doing? Let's go. Okay. Before we get there though, a couple things. Housekeeping. If you haven't yet, go to ursulainc.co, download Quantum Revenue Expansion, the masterclass. I focus on 3 things during that course. Number 1, how to create your brand new quantum revenue container to turn your annual income into your monthly income. Number 2, how to uplevel your pricing, packages, and your marketing. And number 3, how to collapse time and reach your quantum revenue goal even faster. All right, so I have all my notes. I just had to take another note. If you haven't grabbed that course yet, you definitely want to do that because it's great. It's great framework for everything we talk about on the podcast. And if you decide to come to one of our feature courses, having that piece built saves us a lot of time. Next, the 2X Intensive has just been rocking. Like, it's so much fun. We love to see the breakthroughs happening. And even before our clients get to the 2X Intensive, they report massive breakthroughs because you get a private coaching session ahead of it, 30 minutes, plus we work on your model month template. You get customized support before the course. That in itself is worth its weight in gold. Some clients have said that first part was worth the entire tuition because of what came from that. So go to ursulainc.co/apply. It's also in the show notes. And send us your info. We'll get you all the information on the 2X Intensive. We're not running one every month. And I have a feeling that there's going to be a wait list for March. If you want to get in, definitely send us your information so we can get that to you. Because you listen to the podcast, you get a special package, a special price, you get some special gifts, you get some cool things. So let us know and we'll get you the details. Finally, if you love the show, definitely leave us a review. It helps other people see if the show is a fit for them because you talk about like what you like about it and how it's helped you in your business. Once you do that, go to ursulainc.co/apply. I've got a gift for you to say thank you. All right, all the things. Now, take out your notes, everything that you've already been working on, because this is going to be next level. All right, so let's review. The first strategy in the 10 strategies to exceed your quantum revenue goal in 2022 was to get crystal clear. What do you want? Write it down. That was strategy number 2. So get clear, write it down, break it down to the granular so you know. 99% more likely to reach your goals when you write them down. I mean, how do the stats get better than that? 99%. Okay. So that was 1 and 2. Number 3 was to check yourself. On the regular, have you been doing that? Have you been noticing the negativity that floats around in the world and on the internet and like all these places? Have you been checking yourself saying, you know what? I'm not taking that on. I have armor on. I'm not taking on that belief. I'm not taking on their negativity. It's not sticking to me. I'm sending it back. No, thank you. Okay. Notice that. Fourth, rewrite your story. And I explained how to do that, right? So if you haven't listened to, if you haven't listened to that part yet, go back and do it. If you have, definitely send us a message or leave a review on how powerful that was. I'd love to hear how that experience kind of helped you clarify things, or, a lot of times what happens when someone does the writing exercise, the way to get to their goal starts to show up really quickly. The next step, the right people, clients, lots of great things start to show up. So let me know. You can always email me at contact@ursulainc.co and let me know how this is resonating with you and what you got out of it. The fifth step was to make a decision. You got to decide that no matter what, you're not going to stop. This is hard. I shared a story about a client last time who was really stuck, and we have all been there. Maybe you're stuck right now. You have to keep going. Napoleon Hill said you might just be 3 feet from gold. We see that with a lot of clients who are ready to give up. They're 3 feet from gold. They can't see it. You've got to keep mining your gold. You can't stop. So I'm going to give you some tips. So today's really about tips and strategies to keep going when you want to quit, especially when you're, when you've set that quantum revenue goal and your things are going pretty well, or you hit but you hit something. Okay. So here are the next 5 strategies. Strategy number 6 is to notice where you're getting stuck. Notice what triggers you. Different from check yourself. That's about beliefs, thoughts floating through. A lot of times when we're invited to grow or to take a quantum leap in our business, it means we have to stretch. It means we have to expand. It means we have to get outside of our comfort zone. It means we have to live in a new belief zone, right? So you're being called to a higher plane. And when that starts to happen, something will kick up and you'll want to stop. Okay. So I want you to notice where are you getting stuck? Where are you saying, I can't go any further? Where are you so outside your comfort zone that you don't want to take another step? In other words, another thing to say is what are you refusing to do that if you did it would take you to that next level? Okay. So think about that. Where, what are you resisting right now? Or what are you not doing that would get you there? So this is really important. And you might be like, well, how does that show up? It could show up I don't want to make sales calls. I don't want to follow up with people. I don't want to be rejected. I'm afraid if I write a book, people will ridicule me. I'm afraid if I have a podcast, I'll be super visible and people will criticize me. I'm afraid, I really want to have a 7-figure business, but I'm afraid that I won't be able to serve all of our clients. Or I don't want to manage people. I don't want to hire people. Where do you stop? Where are you stuck? Okay. And spending some time on that, ask the question and then, write it down. Maybe it's right in front of you, but if you don't get it right away, do some work around it and really look at where am I getting stuck? Where am I refusing to move forward? Because in that place, in your uncomfort zone, you need to move out of being uncomfortable and into a new belief zone where what you desire is waiting for you. Okay. All right. Take a drink of coffee. Once you find basically what you're refusing to do, then the opportunity is to do it. One of my favorite quotes of all time is by Eleanor Roosevelt. She said, "You must do that thing you think you cannot do." You must do that thing you think you cannot do. It's waiting for you. It's waiting for you. So I want you to take a moment. Maybe you want to pause the show for a moment and write it down. What are you resisting doing right now? When you think about your goal, what are you not doing that if you did, it would take you to the next level? And just take a moment to write that down. Because when you can discover that and you can push through and do it anyway, and keep doing that, keep going, keep pushing through wherever you want to stop and be stuck, push through, you will train yourself to keep going no matter what. And that's where you really want to be, is to have that attitude of like, no matter what, I'm going to keep going. No matter what, I'm going to jump over that perceived obstacle or figure it out, or I'm going to believe, sometimes it's something involves money. And like, I don't have the money right now to do that. How many times do we say that, right? That's a lie. That's just a lie. If there's something that you want to create in your business and requires money, the money's around you. We could get into universal law, and universal law says the money must be there. The money has to be there. Like if you want something, the money must be there. You wouldn't have the desire. And when you lean into that, and that's around the law of polarity, you lean into that, you start to know that it's already there. That's when I lean into a lot, because I think, oh my gosh, like if I want something, the money must already be there. And a huge investment that I made at the end of 2021, and I had no idea where the money was going to come from, but I knew it was a massive investment for my company, but I knew I had to do it. And when I walked in faith and I stepped into it and I made the decision, I'm going to invest in this. We're going to move forward with this. The money showed up. The money showed up in such a beautiful, fast way that it was like, I couldn't help but take notice. And it was a great reminder of this belief, this idea that, when you stop, everything stops. But when you keep going in faith and you persevere, the way will be there. And that's not about spending money recklessly. Like, don't be writing me saying, Ursula, you're telling everybody to spend money. No, this is about making smart business decisions, but it's also about trusting yourself, knowing that you're going to keep the business going. You're going to invest in the business. You're going to keep growing it. You don't get to go like take a break for 2 months, right? You're going to keep the business going. So I stepped out in faith and I knew that. And I knew I would keep doing what I needed to do. So that's where I want to encourage you with that. Strategy number 7. This is an interesting one. And it's one that I've been spending more time with, helping our CEO clients with in our coaching programs. Strategy number 7 is to calibrate to a new level of income. I find that not a lot of people talk about this one. What does it mean to calibrate? So what's interesting is your subconscious mind and your nervous system want to keep you safe, okay? And so often when we see someone bumping up against a revenue goal, like they can't seem to hit it, it could be because they're not calibrated for it, that their nervous system isn't calibrated for it. Meaning like you haven't worked on yourself in a way to allow your nervous system to handle that next level. And what does that even mean? It means like, well, if you're at, 40,000, you want to be at 80,000 a month, there might be a belief that you have that, energetically, it's going to take more from you because you're going to be working all the time, or it's going to zap your energy because it's going to be more clients. You might have something subconscious there. When the truth is, when you scale your business, like you don't have the same team at $1 million that you had at $500,000, right? You don't have the same team. And so this next level, having the $1 million business, you really have to work on calibrating yourself energetically to be able to take that on. And that could mean a lot more self-care. That could mean working with coaches, healers, nutritionists, could be working out more, like really taking care of your physical body so that you can calibrate to that next level. And then the other piece, of course, eating right and taking care of yourself, all of those things help, but also even energetically imagining that you can have the 2x or the 10x, you can have that next level of revenue while actually working less. And that energetically it'll even be easier for you to hold that next level. Hopefully that's making sense, because when I first heard that, I was like, I don't really get it. But I also knew my nervous system couldn't handle whatever was coming, like my adrenals and all the things, because I wasn't focused on that. I wasn't working on it. I didn't know how important that was. That is one of the most important pieces, is to calibrate to that next level. Okay. If that's something, you want support on, we do that at the 2X intensive. So that might be a good course to come to spend some time with us one-on-one, because you do get a private session ahead of time. And certainly during the course, we do a lot of calibration. It just feels like, I just wanted to say that because sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what that means, but physically in my body, I can feel like I'm not calibrated to the 7-figure business. And I'm definitely not calibrated to the belief that I can 2X my revenue every month and actually work less. Like taking on that calibration and that new belief is often a stretch for our clients, but that's a place we'd love to play. All right. So strategy number 6, check into where you're stopping. What are you resisting? What are you not doing that would take you through the comfort zone into the new belief zone? And strategy number 7 is to calibrate to that new level. You got to calibrate the nervous system. Strategy number 8 is to notice what you are focusing on. This is where you get granular and you're starting to really pay attention to your thoughts on a daily basis. What am I focusing on today? Am I focusing on creating the next level in my business and what that takes? Or am I focusing on what's not working? Am I focusing on the client who left? Well, they left because you changed your package, your pricing, you changed how you're showing up, like they weren't a fit anymore. They left, but there's a scarcity piece of you that's like, oh, I can't let them go, right? So I'm focusing that. Am I focusing on what's not working or what's working? As the business starts to grow, it's not that you're not focusing on what's not working. Like you're inspecting. This is what our master coach, Rebecca Hall, always says at Ursula Inc. She's like, what are you inspecting with your team, with systems process? Like you have inspection points, that's fine. But it's not about looking at what's wrong every day. I want you to focus on what's right every day, right? What's going well? What's awesome? Which customers are really happy? They love your product or service. They're raving about it. Like what's going well? Because the more you feed that, the more expansive it becomes. It's like, I'm focusing on what's great in my business right now. I'm focusing on the growth. I'm focusing on the amazing clients we get to work with. I'm focusing on how much our clients love our new programs. I'm focusing on my next book that's coming out. Like I'm focusing on the majority of my day is spent there. If something needs attention, it goes on my list. I have an attention list that will get delegated. If we need to fix something, we'll fix it. We'll change it, right? Again, like throughout the day, and this is really important on your way to that next level, is to like notice what you're focusing on. What are you giving energy to that you shouldn't be? What are you breathing life into that's not helpful? So pull that energy back and decide to only breathe life into what you want to create next. Only focus on those things that move your company forward. Now, if something happens and it takes you off your game and you need 10 minutes to throw a pity party for yourself, do it. Put a timer on, throw the best pity party in the world, feel the sorry for the self, tell a friend, like whatever you need to do to emote it, get it out, but then move on. A 10-minute pity party and then move on. Strategy number 9. This is one of my favorites. And it's a way to get, like, if you feel, I hate the word stuff, but if you're just not sure, like, oh, I want to go from 40,000 to 80,000, but I don't know how. Now I do a couple things here. I do love the book by Dan Sullivan called Who Not How. It's brilliant because a lot of times we get stuck in the how, and it's really not the how. We just need the who. We need the who to help us who has the how. Say that 10 times fast. That's like a Dr. Seuss book, right? You got to find the who, not the how, because there's a who has your how. In other words, there's people out there that have already done what you want to do. Find them. Don't make this hard. Stop making it hard, right? Find your who. Now, another fun activity to like loosen things up though, is to answer this question. I want you to write it down. What's the fastest and easiest way to reach my quantum revenue goal, my monthly quantum revenue goal? What's the fastest and easiest way to reach my quantum revenue goal? And then, and you might want to do this in a Google Doc so you have it and so your team can help you with it or whatever, you want to keep it. And then you come up with 50 ideas to answer that question. 50 ideas. And it could be anything. But there's two really important pieces to this. One, it's how you're asking the question, right? It's an open-ended question. And it's also what's embedded in the question. We're not asking what's the hardest and most painful way to reach my goal. We're saying, what is the fastest and easiest way to get to $83,000 a month in my business? That's part one. Part two, you come up with the 50 ideas. Now, there have been studies done on the power of 50 ideas. Brian Tracy talks about this, and there's many others who've talked about it. I'm trying to remember where I found the studies. I found the studies when I was working on my book, The Belief Zone. But you can research this. There's studies out there that talk about, when you get to 50 or more ideas, there's gold in that list. It's going to take some effort to get to the 50 ideas. We often do this in, as a mastermind with our clients, but there is gold that you'll find in that list. And then once you come up with the 50 ideas, go back and find your top 10 and then choose your top 5. Maybe you want to take action on the first 5. Maybe you want to take action on, all 10 that look great. Like, that's up to you. There's the answers are there. It's like a way to put your subconscious mind on speed dial to come up with the ideas. Like, it's so powerful. And if it takes you a couple of days to do it, working on it at different times, that's fine. Get to the 50 ideas. Excuse me. And it's fun if you have a sales team, it's fun to have the Google Doc, or, even if you have other team members that maybe aren't in sales, but would have some great ideas to add, have them add it. We use this as well. And it's one of my favorite practices. So come up with 50 ideas to answer the question, what is the fastest and easiest way to reach my monthly quantum revenue goal? Finally, strategy number 10 is to take 3 steps every day toward your quantum revenue goal. 3 steps. Do 3 things every day. Because often we'll feel like we're not moving forward, but it's the little steps that you take every day that move you forward, right? So one of the steps might be, today I'm going to create the Google Doc for the 50 ideas. I'm going to have my team do that. And then I'm going to come up with 10 ideas today. And that's 2 things already. And then the third thing I'm going to do is work on my packages and pricing, because we need to get that done. Every day, take 3 steps toward your quantum revenue goal. At the end of the month, right? If you did this 20 working days, I'm going to use easy math, and you took 3 steps every day, that's 60 steps toward your quantum revenue goal in 1 month. If you did that where's my calculator? Some of you already did the math in your head. That's fine. That's just not my strength. You don't have to, you can brag about it later. Just kidding. That's 720 steps. I knew that. 720 steps in a year toward your quantum. Do you think you'd reach your quantum revenue goal? Yeah, I do. I think you'd probably get it or exceed it. What you wouldn't do is stop, right? You wouldn't stop. And that, when people ask me the question, why do some people reach their goals and other people don't? Well, the people who reached their goals, they kept going. They were persistent. They knew they were 3 feet from gold. They held on to that belief. They held on to my belief, right? In them and what was possible. They didn't give up. They kept going. They kept taking the steps, even when it was painful, even when they wanted to cry, even when they did cry, they kept going. They had scratched knees. They had scratched, hands. It was like they fell down. They got back up. They failed. They failed at a lot of things. They kept going. And I'm saying this is what I did, what I continue to do. I fail a lot of things, but I take steps every day toward my goals. I have a list. Here's the thing. What you want, what you desire wants you to. The quantum revenue goal that you desire, that goal wants you as much as you want that goal. So if you need to listen to this, part 1 and part 2 100 times, or have it playing in the background every day, I don't care. I'll hang out with you. Let's hang out together. What I'm committed to is supporting you in exceeding your quantum revenue goal this year. You and every other CEO that's hanging out with us, because you want it. You have the desire. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have the desire. So then it's yours and it's your time. Thanks for hanging out with me on part 2. If this show resonates with you, email me at contact@ursulainc.co. I want to know what parts resonated, how it's helped you. I want to know. And I'll read what you share. I'll read it on the show if you want me to, right? I want to hear about your successes. I want to celebrate you. If you're not yet, you definitely want to join Quantum Revenue Expansion, the private Facebook group, because we have other things that are going on there. So that's in the show notes. You can click and ask to be invited, and we'll add you to that group, because that's where I can hang out with you even more and support you. All right, everybody, that's it for this week. I truly, truly wish you your most epic year ever. Make 2022 the breakthrough year for you. All right, we'll see you here next week. Take care.
Thank you for joining us today. And if you are ready to make your next quantum leap, let's do it. Ursula invites you to join us at the 2X Intensive. Go to salescoachnow.com/apply. Don't forget to leave us a review on your favorite podcast app.